If you like to make your NFL games a little bit more interesting, you've come to the right place. It's the Even Money Podcast with Ross Tucker and Steve Fezzik.
Yeah, Vegas, baby, Vegas. It is the Even Money Betting Podcast, a show that's so nice we do it twice. You love Tuesday's episodes, and you should, because Steve and I are both up big this year, including the VIG, including minus 125 on the teasers. We are still rolling. That's Tuesday's episode, where we do all of our recap of how we did the weekend before, and the last 2 weeks have been beautiful. And then we obviously dive into each bet we did, and then we make our bets against the spread, over-unders, as well as teasers. Thursday's episode, we're going to start with the line moves. Then we'll get to Dr. David Chao for injury information that could impact us. And then we'll always get to Steve's props and parlays that he likes. Steve, let's start with some of the line moves. I should mention, by the way, you can check Steve out on social media at Fezzik Sports. I'm at Ross Tucker NFL. We're at Ross Tucker Pod. Love all the people that watch on YouTube every week. YouTube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. All right, Steve, my game tonight, Cowboys, Lions. It's still holding at the Cowboys getting 3 points, which is interesting because of the injury information that we'll dive into with Dr. Chao momentarily. Saints-Bucks line hasn't moved. Seahawks-Falcons. Seahawks-Falcons moved by half a point. On Tuesday, Steve, the Seahawks were laying 7.5. Now they're only laying 7, so some movement to Atlanta there.
Yeah, and I think it's going to move back to 7.5. You know, Seattle's a juggernaut. I don't agree with this move.
All right. Bengals, Bills. That was already 5.5, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then you got Steelers, Ravens. The Steelers are still getting 6 points, but how about this, Steve? The total's now 42.5. You and I put 2 units on it on Tuesday's Even Money podcast at 43.5. So we already got a full point of value on the total there.
Yeah, we've been great also, not just with the results, but getting the CLV, the closing line value, especially with totals this year. That's why you got to tune in Tuesday morning early to our show.
No question. Again, I'm up 68.4 units for the year. Steve's 36.4. The crazy thing, though, is 76 and 34 on our best bets. Colts, Jags, that line has not changed. Titans, Browns has not changed that I can see. Dolphins, Jets is the same. Not as much line movement this week. There is some movement here with the Commanders and the Vikings. The Commanders are now getting 2.5. Weren't they favored earlier on Tuesday, Steve? Is this maybe because J.J. McCarthy's coming back?
No, I think it's because Daniels is likely not going to play. That's what this line is telling you. But you know what? Mariota's played perfectly fine. I'm adding Washington to my teaser portfolio, Ross.
I agree wholeheartedly. Washington plus 8.5. I would be stunned if the Vikings beat the Commanders by more than 8.5. I now have 8 different teaser legs this week. Remember, we parlay them or round robin them, however you want to call it. Only 1 unit each this week because I have so many of them that I like. Broncos and the Raiders, that line has not moved. Bears, Packers, still the Bears getting 6.5. Rams and Cardinals, this is interesting. The Rams were laying 8.5. Now the Rams are only laying 7.5, Steve.
And I don't want to tell DraftKings how to set their lines, but my goodness, that Rams teaser is looking more and more attractive.
Good point. I have the Rams at minus 2.5. Now you can get them at minus 1.5 for that game. Texans Chiefs has not moved. Eagles, Chargers, this is interesting. I got the Chargers, I think you did as well, on a teaser leg up to 8.5 because they were getting 2.5. Now they're getting 3, so half a point there, Steve. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and so concerns about Herbert's health, and Dr. Chao have a lot to say about that. One epiphany I was thinking to myself, these quarterbacks that have to go out of shotgun, we probably should be looking at the running backs over on reception yards, just because you've got to have some, instead of handing the ball off, more dump offs, essentially a run, but it counts in the passing stats, right?
That's a good point. That's a really good point. That I don't know if they'll run it as much, especially to the side where Herbert has to kind of backhand the handoff. We'll hear more about that from Dr. Chao momentarily. Did the total go up also, Steve, for the Bills and Bengals? Did I miss that one on the total?
Yeah, it's up to 53.5. So, hey, Northwestern New York in the wintertime, no, so what? It's a Cincinnati game. If it's a Bengal game, people like betting over, right?
Wow. Interesting. Okay. Well, let's talk with Dr. Chao to get all the injury information before we figure out what you like for props and parlays this week and see how you did last week. First, though, it's Dr. Chao. Every week is a great week to have Dr. Chao on the show, but I would say that is especially the case today because, as you can tell, I am in Detroit. I'm on the call tonight for the Lions and the Cowboys for Westwood 1, and there's a lot of health issues, especially with the Lions, to get into with our guy, Dr. David Chao. As a reminder, I got multiple emails this week from people that are Sick Score, Sick Picks subscribers. I love it. If your guaranteed pick doesn't win, your $10 weekly subscription is fully refunded. They're hitting 75% this season on their 3-star NFL spread plays based solely on the injury information. Make sure you get it for just $10 by using code Ross at sickscore.com. That's SIC score.com. Dr. Chao, let's start with my game because it feels like the Lions are banged up at the exact spots where the Cowboys are really strong. What are your thoughts on Lions-Cowboys tonight?
Well, you got it, Ross. I mean, you've done your research for the game. You don't even need me here. But the Lions issues, the one that everyone is talking about is Amon-Ra St. Brown. But that's not the biggest issue in our opinion at Sports Injury Central. And by the way, I don't believe the national reporting of a inversion ankle sprain is correct. I've seen the video over a dozen times. He gets rolled up on the outside. It is a mild high ankle sprain. He has not practiced all week. Do not think he's going to play today. But the bigger issues for Detroit are on their offensive line, your complete specialty. There is a reason why they tried to get Frank Ragnow out of retirement. Unfortunately, he didn't pass his physical. They've been short up the middle at guard and center, with Glass now switched over from guard to center and the other guard injured. Now both tackles have issues on the injury report. Taylor Decker and Penny Sewell, shoulder injuries. Even if they both play, and Decker has played through, that's still 4 of the 5 starting offensive linemen effective. Even if 2 play at less than 100%, that's a significant impact. And 3 out of the 4 starters in the secondary are gone, including number 1 corner Terrion Arnold. Both safeties affected. Kirby Joseph out. Brian Branch playing. That's a lot against what? A Cowboys with an up front that's been fortified with the trade acquisition of Quinnen Williams. Jadeveon Clowney will play. And linebackers, Logan Wilson addition, Devarian Overshawn back from IR. And the secondary has gotten healthier. There's only Trayvon Diggs that's still out there. So you pointed out there the secondary Detroit against Pickens, who's healthy and playing, and CeeDee Lamb, and against the front of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, that's not good. I mean, for them to put Terrion Arnold on IR when they're going against guys like Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. I'll talk about this more perhaps with Steve. I'm surprised that the Lions are still favored by 3 points. That's a little bit stunning to me. Let's talk about the Bucs, Dr. Chao, because the Bucs, they've been one of the most injured teams in the NFL, in particular at the skill positions. And then I saw that Mike Evans is practicing this week and is clear. Did we expect him to be back this soon?
Yeah, we'll talk about it in 1 second. I agree with you, Ross, on the line, but what we find is if it's a quarterback, the line goes crazy, right? But when it's offensive linemen or cornerbacks or, other things, the line doesn't account for it as much. And quite honestly, right there is what the Sports Injury Central edge is, the sick edge is. As far as Mike Evans is concerned, look, he broke his collarbone. When I was in the NFL, I had a guy return at 3 weeks. And that, admittedly, we were pushing it, okay? He's 6+ weeks, and not only is he cleared and ready to go, he's healthy enough to go because guess what? He's already been running and working out lower body for the last few weeks. This is not like coming off a hamstring and just starting to go. So expect his ramp up to be even quicker than Jalen McMillan coming off with the neck. And Tampa Bay is rounding into shape. Chris Godwin had a good game yesterday, great game last week with his fibula issue, and they're rounding into form now. Expect Mike Evans to be activated soon, maybe even this week.
Wow, you had a guy come back from a broken clavicle in 3 weeks?
Yes.
How is that even a thing?
Well, you're relying on the plate. Was there assumed risk? Yes. We talked about it and et cetera. Missed 3 games, yes.
What are you seeing right now from Daniel Jones, who's playing through this fibula fracture? Doesn't seem like he's running as much. Obviously, the Colts offense hasn't been as good. What's the things to note? Should we be hammering the Daniel Jones under rushing yardage props?
Well, we've been talking about that at sickscore.com. 1 rush for 1 yard last week, right? He's not going to have any design runs. And Daniel Jones, as you know, is actually a very good runner, straight line runner. He's a gazelle. He's a giraffe. He doesn't have wiggle, but he's got good straight line speed, but not anymore with the push off there. Now, it hasn't affected his passing much. He is able to throw from the pocket, mobile enough, but it does affect the running game for Daniel Jones. But here's the thing. I hope that we're on the precipice of getting over this. This injury is actually now 4 weeks old come this Sunday. It happened. He's been playing through it, hurt it 3 games ago, been playing through already. And by 4 weeks, hopefully, and certainly by 6 weeks, so we're getting close, we hope to have this issue more behind him. So now that everyone is really talking about it, he's starting, we hope, to turn the corner.
And playing on it doesn't slow down the healing process at all?
Well, if he gets it hit again, apparently it was a leg whip that did it, and it's the fibula. So for people who can't believe that he's playing with a broken leg, the tibia is the bigger, stronger, weight-bearing bone. The fibula is not, and if the fibula fracture is not at the ankle, which would provide ankle joint stability, it is something that you can play through at quarterback. At pretty much any other position, certainly running back, wide receiver, DB, linebacker, you would not be able to play through. Same thing for, as we talk about, for Joe Burrow in his toe or Brock Purdy coming back in his toe. The position of quarterback is so specialized that you can get away sometimes with things. And even like Justin Herbert's hand or Aaron Rodgers' wrist fracture.
What are you expecting from Herbert on Monday night, Dr. Chao, with having hand surgery on Monday?
Well, I'm expecting that he will play, and we talked about it at our Sunday evening podcast right after games were over. We expected him to have surgery, and as we were talking about it, Jim Harbaugh announced that he would have surgery and expect him to play. Why? First of all, Justin Herbert is tough as they come. Second of all, he already played through with it broken, with it buddy taped in a small mini cast, modifying his game. Third of all, having surgery actually stabilizes the fracture from moving. Is it going to be painful? Yes, but you can numb it. And also the fact that I've had multiple players return 1 week after this type of hand metacarpal fracture surgery. Admittedly, they usually go into a club. They've most often been offensive linemen. Justin Herbert can't go into a club. That's the only issue. He has to have smaller protection to be able to handle the ball some. You won't see him under center at all, shotgun only because of the force of the snap. If they need to go shotgun or tush push sneak, they're going to put in Trey Lance along the goal line or 4th and 1, etc., to handle that or modify that somehow. But he can be effective, but it'll be offhanded handoffs and other things like we've seen with Aaron Rodgers this last week.
So I guess there's no way of you knowing this, but should we be taking the Herbert under rushing yards prop too? I mean, I would imagine he's not as likely to run with a broken hand, right?
Yeah, I don't even know what that rush prop is, but, if it's up at normal, I think that there will be some protection. First of all, any changes to the Chargers game related to shotgun, if you're looking at, and I don't know the data on this, but effectiveness of running backs or run game out of shotgun, how their play selection changes out of shotgun, that's going to be the biggest change. They're going to be exclusively shotgun. And then, yes, I do think there's probably propensity to run less because why expose yourself to risk? And, ball security. He's going to be able to handle the ball, but, if he's running to his left, he can't really carry it in the outside hand, right? And so there's, you don't want to have the fumble issues. So he probably definitely will run less.
And he's been running pretty effectively this year. The last one that I'm interested in, and this is why I took the Texans plus the 3.5 on Tuesday's show, the Chiefs' O-line is not healthy, and this is the Texans are the wrong team to go against if you have O-line health issues, Dr. Chao.
Well, there you go. Dr. Tucker is on it again, ahead of the curve of what's happening. Look, the Chiefs' Achilles heel for the last 2 seasons have been at the tackle positions. That's why they got Josh Simmons, right? Josh Simmons now with the dislocated / fractured wrist is out on IR. Left tackle is out. And the Chiefs didn't play well when he had the hiatus for personal family issues. Jawan Taylor, who hasn't played great, is injured with an elbow issue, triceps issue. Trey Smith is already out with a back issue. That's a lot to happen for the Chiefs, and you're right. And that's one of the reasons why against that Houston front, if we're talking props, Kareem Hunt on the player edge indexes at minus 30.7%.
Do not forget to go to sixscore.com, use the code Ross. There's a whole lot more information where that came from. While you're at it, if you haven't gone to patreon.com/RTmedia to get all of our picks in black and white, why don't you knock both those out at the same time? Give yourself a little Christmas holiday gift. Dr. Chao, you're the man. Follow him on social at ProFootballDoc, and of course, go to sixscore.com. Thanks, Dr. Chao.
Thank you.
Don't go anywhere. Got to pay some bills real quick. Steve, I don't know if you went shopping for your wife yet for Christmas. Dude, I got it. I got it for you. It's auraframes.com. Use the promo code EVEN. It's a picture frame that using your phone and the app, you put in whatever pictures and videos you want. You can change them. They can change them themselves. It's like the future of picture frames. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver mat frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using promo code EVEN at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code EVEN. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames sell out fast. So order yours now to get in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. That's auraframes.com. Promo code EVEN. On Fox 1, now you can stream your favorite live sports. So you can be there live for the biggest moments. Obviously, NFL Sundays, huge college football games, including big noon kickoff, and NASCAR. For those of you that like car racing. I've been to Daytona 500. I was in the pit. That is wild. Thoroughly enjoyed that experience. We all know live sports are amazing. It's what brings us all together. Yes, you can watch it later. It's not the same. Watch it live. Fox 1. We live for live. Streaming now. All right. Last week, Steve, you did pretty darn good. You were 3-1 on your props, which, by the way, are all graded again minus 110. His parlay last week, which lost, was plus 1,005. So you had Jake Ferguson on the over in terms of receiving yards. You had Lamar Jackson under 26.5 rushing. He rushed for more than 26.5? I didn't realize that.
27. If you shopped around, you won. Like I always hear, oh, we're just cherry picking numbers. Well, here's a case where I lost against the DraftKings number, but if you had looked around, you could have found a 27.5.
Christian Watson over 52.5. That hit. And Chase Brown over 19.5 receiving yards. That hit. So you were 3-1 on your props last week, Steve. Very well done. Your parlay, you took the bad teams to keep it close in bad weather. Titans plus 6.5 and the under. Browns plus 4.5 and the under. Both unders hit. The Browns and Titans did not. They both got beaten handily, and now they play against each other this week. All right. Any props or anything, Steve, on tonight's game, my game between the Lions and the Cowboys?
Yes, I am going with sacks under 5.5. That's minus 160 is the prevalent line. Look at this total, Ross. 54.5. Sacks are drive killers. There is no way a total this high can ever have a sack number that high. I get it. Detroit has a O-line that's in deep trouble, but they'll get the ball out quick. In fact, I looked back in the last 4 games for Detroit, this prop's gone 4-0. Last 4 games for Dallas, this prop's gone 3-1. So that's a 7-1 coming into this game. I don't think Dallas is going to get sacked more than once in this game. So total sacks under 5.5.
Ooh, okay. And that's minus 160 on DraftKings. So total sacks under 5.5, minus 160 on DraftKings. What about, Steve, any other prop bets that you have potentially for this weekend?
So Chicago Bears, their rookie tight end Loveland is an absolute stud. We're going to go over. Well, grade me at 33.5, even though there's some 32.5 in the market. So here's a guy, his first 5 games, Ross, he was way under that. Since then, he's become the go-to guy. And in fact, he had 4 straight weeks where he got 38 or more yards. Last week, he should have gotten 50, but they overturned a long touchdown catch that he made. Just barely didn't control the ball in bounds. And the Bears ran crazy over Philly in the game, so they didn't get very many attempts for passes. Well, now they're 6.5-point dog at Green Bay. Loveland's going to get 40 yards. He'll probably get 50, so over 33.5 for the Bears tight end Loveland.
Okay, so we're going under on sacks tonight, over on the receiving yards for Loveland. That's at minus 120. What about, Steve, any parlays? Again, Steve does not get graded on the parlays, but we do them because you guys want them, because you like them. I talk to a lot of you that do the same parlay every week, which is interesting. Your thoughts? I had dinner with a buddy last night out here in Detroit who does the same parlay every week. He takes all the teams that are favored by more than 1 score and teases them down below 1 score. And he says it works more often than not. Your thoughts on a parlay for this weekend, Steve?
So your buddy's going to love my parlay because it's a 4-team teaser parlay. So it'll pay, depending upon the shop, right around like plus 260. And we're taking teams that are all favored by over a touchdown, essentially just having to win the game. So these are in our teaser portfolio. We wheel them all by 2s, but we're going to play this in a 4-team teaser. Pays a lot more. Seattle, Tampa Bay, Denver Rams. Ross, I see no scenario that this doesn't go 4-0. What could possibly go wrong?
You can't say that on the show, Steve. We're
I just
sponsored by
did.
DraftKings. All right, listen, we have an email question. I love those of you that take advantage of any of our sponsors, or you get the best gift ever like myfrontpagestory.com, or even just get the free estimate at westshorehome.com/Ross. If you do that, you get to ask Steve a question. Or if you just go to patreon.com/RTmedia. Josh wants the math on 3-team 10-point NFL teasers. He said if 2-team 6-point teasers give you 12 points at -125, 3-team 10-point teasers give you 30 points at -120. How is getting 30 points to move the spread in either direction not a profitable bet?
Because if I played a 30-team parlay and I got 1 point on every game, that would be 30 points, and the odds of hitting that would be over 10 million to 1. But having said all that, so basic strategy, when you play these 10-point teasers, ties lose, so you only want to tease half-point lines, and that avoids the ties lose. Where they're really good is when you have 12.5 or 11.5 point favorites. And so if you have a 12.5 point favorite, you tease them down to -2.5. Doesn't happen very often, but the guys I talk to say they love when there's 3 double-digit favorites and the lines are on the half point to put those into those 10-point 3-team teasers.
Got it. But the issue is the more teams you add, the less likely it is for it to come through, which is that's the math on it. Good question, Josh. Check him out at Fezzik Sports. I'm at Ross Tucker NFL. Make sure you like and subscribe, and most importantly, turn the notifications on so you get this show right away. Patreon.com/RTmedia. Best $10 you'll ever spend. Good luck, everybody. Hope you guys win some money this weekend.
Thanks for tuning in to Even Money. Make sure to also check out the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, Fantasy Feast, and College Draft, all on the DraftKings Network, YouTube, or subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform.